It's no longer news that Nigerians are planning a massive protest across the country in a few days. What is news is that politicians are already trembling, they are shaking in their boots, and they are yielding to the demands of Nigerians even before the protest starts. Before we see the quick changes politicians have made in order to appeal to Nigerians, one thing you must know is that if politicians make changes, it means that they have accepted that they've been doing the wrong thing all along. It's just that Nigerians let them get away with it. Yes, like the saying goes, if you never demand changes or anything from people in power, power gives nothing for free. They will never yield, they will continue squeezing and squeezing until they squeeze the last breath out of Nigerians. But once you make your demands known, it will shock them back to reality, sort of a factory reset. From there, things will start getting better until Nigerians stop paying attention. If they stop caring again, they will continue with their misgovernance. It is an eternal vigilance. If you ever sleep, you will lose your things, you will lose your rights, you will lose your democracy. That's how life works. So people thinking that coming out to protest is a huge work for them. You cannot eat your cake and have it. You cannot be crying that there is bad governance, that there is suffering and hardship, and you can't even come out to ask the people that have imposed all this hardship on you. You can't come out and tell them, hey, stop this. We demand that you stop this. Don't do this one, do this one. This one will benefit us more instead of benefiting a few people. If you are not ready to do this, no one will do it for you. So the fact that they are already yielding even before Nigerians hit the streets, that means that they know what they are doing. They've been taking Nigerians for a ride. They've been riding on our ignorance or our nonchalance. They've been riding on the fact that we've been very docile. The docility is what empowers politicians to continue stealing and doing all sorts of things with impunity. Nigerian politicians are aware of what is happening around the world, in Africa, especially in Kenya. Kenyans have been on the streets protesting the past few weeks, and their government has been yielding to their demands. So they know that if such a thing were to happen in Nigeria, it might degenerate to the level of becoming a revolution, which will sweep all of them from office. Yes, they are aware of this. That's why they have been appealing to Nigerians to make sure that this protest doesn't hold. They've appealed through religious leaders, through traditional rulers, through governors, through anyone they can get their hands on. Even the current distribution of 20 trucks of rice per state are part of the appeal to make sure Nigerians are persuaded to drop the protest. But it is already too late because many Nigerians are determined to troop out en masse to demand for good governance. So looking at what is happening, you can liken it to Nigerian youths only grunting. That grunt alone, the politicians are already shaking and trembling in their boots. How much more when Nigerian youths roar? They will all pack their bags and leave. So Nigerian youths need to realize the kind of powers they have. And they have to use this power to demand for good governance, demand changes in the system. Actually, when you look at what happened in Kenya and Nigeria, there are similarities. The only difference is that Nigerians never protested. Both countries obtained loans from IMF and the World Bank, and you know that these foreign financial institutions, they always give conditions to countries before they are granted loans. Some of these conditions include an increase in taxes. In some cases, they also demand that the country must devalue their currency. In Nigeria, they implemented these too. They increased taxes, they devalued the currency by more than 200%. Nigerians never did anything. It is now they are planning to do something about it, but Kenyans couldn't take it. Mind you, their government didn't devalue their currency. Imagine if they devalued the currency while increasing taxes that would have affected bread and other food items. So imagine if Nigerians started threatening to protest about a month ago. That means the people that had the audacity on the House floor to pass a resolution telling the executive branch to present a budget to purchase a new presidential jet, they wouldn't have had the audacity to do it. Not to talk of other non-priority projects they've been spending billions on. So they are aware that if people react in a certain manner, they will withdraw. But once people don't react, they will continue having the audacity, the motivation to keep doing and acting with impunity. Now, to what happened at the National Assembly today, it's not as if this should make Nigerians not to troop out en masse to protest anymore. No, it should actually motivate them. Let's even assume that it is pure optics by politicians, but it's still a good thing that they are pretending to work for Nigerians, that they are pretending to care. Yes, before today, most of them have been acting as if all is well with Nigeria. The kind of budgets they pass, the kind of non-priority projects they embark on, as if Nigerians are swimming in wealth. So it was a huge surprise today that the Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps moved a motion, seconded by one other member of the House of Reps, that they should cut their salaries by 50%. In a motion titled "An Appeal to the Proponents of Proposed Nationwide Protest to Maintain Peace, Eschew Violence, and Open the Window for Meaningful Engagements with Government at all levels in order to address their issues," the members said that their monthly basic salary is 600,000 naira. Therefore, a 50% slash of this salary will mean that it will become 300,000 naira per month going forward. That's just basic salary. No one knows whether it's real or not. There's no way to prove if they will continue receiving 600,000 or 300,000 naira per month. There's no way to know how much they really earn. We already know that they earn humongous amounts of money in allowances, wardrobe allowance, furniture allowance, and all sorts of allowances. The National Assembly members have never been transparent with Nigerians, despite the fact that Nigerians pay their salaries. Nigerians employ them, but they've been treating Nigerians with disdain. So like already said, this is a motivation for the millions of Nigerians planning to troop out en masse to protest in the coming days. They will seize this opportunity to demand more changes, more transparency, demand a serious reduction in their salaries. All the criminal allowances they earn must be stopped because they are a leech on Nigeria's resources. Nigerians elect representatives to go to Abuja to represent them. Instead of representing them and making sure the budget and billions of naira are spent in their constituencies to better the lives of their constituents, they corner all the resources for themselves. At the end of the day, nothing is left to develop their constituencies. So an employee can never be bigger than his employer. It's time the employers take charge and demand that the employees must give way, especially the Senate. Nigeria doesn't need any Senate. It should be abolished. This particular Senate is one of the lowest performers in Nigeria's history. They are like an appendage to the executive branch. They do all their wishes, whatever they want, no debate. They just pass it without recourse to Nigeria's interest. The other time they talked about regionalism, to amend the constitution to reflect true federalism, but they are doing the complete opposite. Imagine taking more powers from the states. The federating units in Nigeria that are demanding for more powers from the center, but this Senate is taking more powers from the federating units and giving it to the center. After the Supreme Court judgment on the local government autonomy, they now want to amend the law so that INEC will conduct local government elections. The national INEC, not the state INEC. So you see, they want to take all the powers to the center. And ultimately, they will create a dictator. We are going into dictatorship. People are crying about democracy no longer working. We are moving into serious dictatorship. When they add more powers to the already humongous powers at the center, what could go wrong? So there are many changes Nigerians will demand when they troop out en masse to protest. Also remember that a counter-protest is planned. They've perfected the counter-protest. They're only waiting for people to protest and they will quickly mobilize to counter them. These are all the measures they've taken to contain the protest to make sure that it doesn't sweep them away, because they also want to resist the push from Nigerians. Here's hoping that Nigerians will be able to put their differences aside and unite to protest against their common enemy. Thanks for watching.